Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Creator Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So as this year is wrapping up, there have been some ups and some downs, and unfortunately this year kind of finished on a pretty big down note for many people out there. And yeah, let's just jump into it. A big thank you to Commander's Herald for making this interview, and a massive thank you to the very brave individual who did get interviewed for this from Wizards of the Coast. This is an exclusive interview with ex-Wizards employee on Layoffs. This actually came out on Christmas as well, just in time for the holiday season. And again, it's kind of sad if you didn't hear what happened. Basically, many were laid off at Wizards, even though they had a stellar year. Hasbro is not on the good list this year. Wizards of the Coast, the company that develops Magic the Gathering, has been beset by layoffs from the toy and game giant this holiday season. As such, there's much discontent behind the hallowed halls of Wizards of the Coast headquarters. And unfortunately, now outside of it as well. More than 1,100 people were left unemployed after Hasbro went through these layoffs. This amount includes a large number of people previously under Wizards employ. We had the opportunity to conduct an exclusive interview with one of these ex-employees. So again, the situation is Hasbro is the parent company to Wizards of the Coast, and Hasbro is not doing so well, and because of that, they actually laid off some Wizards employees as well. The total number, I don't believe, is known at this point. Total number for Hasbro overall is 1,100, more than that actually. And yeah, Wizards employees were laid off in that as well, even though Wizards had a good year. A shot of the external facade of Wizards of the Coast headquarters in Renton, Washington. We conducted an exclusive interview with a now ex-employee after Hasbro's holiday layoff left 1,100 people without their jobs for reasons of their protection in the industry within which they are still aiming to be employed. We have omitted our interviewee's name from this article. Without further ado, here's what that ex-employee of Wizards of the Coast had to say. So, again, thank you for your bravery for sharing this, because yeah, I'm sure it could be very, very, very difficult to step up and do that, but I think it is important for people to hear kind of just what is going on with this company that has, in many people's minds over the past couple of years, made some really questionable and really poor decisions. Yeah, let's jump into it. The first question, was the layoff something that came out of nowhere? The answer is yes and no. While there were communications that numbers were not where they need to be, all conversations point to this being due to the toys division of Hasbro, and that changes would be taking place on that end. We had several town hall Q&As with Human Resources, Cynthia Williams, and Chris Cox, where this was brought up. In one with Cynthia, she responded to HR's comment of "we are killing it" by correcting her and saying we actually were not. She then called out to someone in the back of the group saying, "I believe Wizards numbers are lower than last year," to which the person she was speaking to said they were actually up. She then tried explaining this as Wizards not hitting the numbers needed what was promised to stockholders, and if not for Baldur's Gate 3, the company would be in trouble. When this was brought up in the Chris Cox town hall, he commented about being more towards the toys division that changes would be made. So again, like I said earlier, the reports essentially, and again, Hasbro is a public traded company, so their data essentially is public knowledge. And yes, the toys division is doing terrible, essentially tanking the company. I believe the toys division is doing very bad. The entertainment side of it is doing absolutely awful, and that is really what is tanking the company. But what is not tanking the company is the Wizards division of the company, which is Magic and D&D essentially. And those things are going incredibly well for the company, and again, we're even internally, they're kind of like saying different messages. Some people are saying like, "Oh, we're doing great, we're killing it," and then being corrected like in that same meeting that we're not doing that well, our numbers are down from last year. And then someone else saying, actually, the numbers are up from last year. And then, oh, it doesn't matter if the numbers are up from last year. We promised stockholders this, and we're not getting there. So again, whether or not it's actually Magic's fault, whether it's not it's Wizards' fault, kind of doesn't matter to Hasbro, I guess, at the end of the day. And yeah, they're making these kind of widespread decisions with the entire company essentially as the barometer, and not just in how well Wizards is doing itself. Was there severance, and if so, was it reasonable? There was, though, in looking at what has been offered to other companies, it is definitely on the lower end. So that is very unfortunate and very sad. Where are the internal fault lines, both within Wizards of the Coast and within Hasbro in general? Is there any generational divide? For instance, the employees within Wizards all meshed really well. You had to. Teams were so short-staffed and begged for headcount before the layoffs that you didn't have a chance to clash about anything. So this is a very interesting perspective that, hey, teams are already short-staffed at Wizards. And again, that's not surprising, I guess, as well, because again, over the past couple of years, I always think back to that one chart that was shared on Reddit, where it just showed like basically pre-20, I think it was 19, essentially, like the number of products each year was like slowly increasing, like barely, or just kind of staying the same. And then all of a sudden, 2019, 2020, it just spiked up a ton, like an absurd amount. It went from like 14-ish kind of real products each year to like 60 plus. Yeah, so it's pretty absurd. And thinking about just the number of products these days, it's impossible to keep up. And because of that, yeah, I'm sure they didn't just increase headcount at Wizards to the point where it's like matching up to the number of products that are being made. And then also now, hey, they're already short-staffed and also losing a lot of employees as well. From your experience, were the layoffs targeted at upper, middle, or lower class employees? Across the board, the only exceptions were the execs who needed to be held accountable the most. So, not surprising with, moves like this in some corporations where, yeah, again, the ones who are making the major decisions potentially and the company is not going well aren't potentially being held accountable, and everyone else is kind of, taking the fall for them. So, yeah, that is just kind of unfortunate, obviously. Is your faith in Hasbro as a company any different now compared to a month ago? Faith is much, much lower, not surprising. However, this was dropping even before the layoffs happened. The constant need to squeeze customers for everything they could while requiring employees to do more and more with fewer resources just showed that they were strictly about the money. And yes, companies have to make money, but there was a clear disregard for customers there. Concerns and feedback were constantly raised to leadership, but it didn't matter. Only just keep pushing the product. So yeah, things that, again, on both sides, apparently I've been saying, again, people that are internal at Wizards saying like, hey, yeah, we need to not just oversaturate the market with products and squeeze customers for all the money. And again, on our side, essentially saying, hey, we're the customers and we don't want a million products. And yeah, you can say that each product's not for everyone, right? But also, you're diluting the game. You're also just, basically using, customers as your cash cow and saying like, yeah, we want to get all the money out of you while we can because the rest of Hasbro is struggling, so we need to prop them up. And at a certain point, and this is me kind of just actually getting outside the article for a second, like, I know many people out there want Wizards to succeed, but like, I kind of just want Wizards to fail at one point, just so that, Hasbro can't just utilize them to prop them up, and maybe Wizards can get out from underneath the grasp of Hasbro at some point. That's maybe the only way that can happen. So maybe that's just a pipe dream that essentially that Wizards, eventually escape from Hasbro and then isn't beholden to all these shenanigans and all this craziness when it comes to other products and trying to prop Hasbro up when it's a company that is struggling because they are really poorly managed. We shall see, though. How much exposure to the details of Wizards of the Coast branded items does the standard Hasbro employee have? Do you see or hear anything like book names or packaging before it is announced? This depends on what products you are working on with. You have to have insight to build campaigns and marketing, but insight was all there was. Again, feedback, concerns, and anything else brought up was dismissed. So again, people that are internal even saying like, okay, like, do we really need this product? Like, is this something that players need? Is this like something that we're just pushing on players? And giving feedback just does not matter, apparently. Again, it is just, okay, here's what the numbers say. If we do this, we're going to make this. We put out this many secret layers. It doesn't matter. This many different products. We do this many different IPs, this many Universes Beyond, this many cards. Yeah, the amount of product that is coming out each year is absolutely crazy. The amount of new cards coming out each year is like now like up to like nearly 2,000, I believe, which is just absolutely crazy. Like 400 new commanders each year. So yeah, obviously when they see, okay, this is what's doing well in Magic right now. Oh, let's overdo it. We're going to overdo it. We're going to, push cards. We're going to make it so that Lord of the Rings is the best selling set ever by putting really overpowered cards in it and just doing a million products for it as well. Yeah, again, not listening to concerns internally or externally. What was the internal reception to Altifox's attempt to separate Wizards of the Coast from Hasbro in 2022? If you didn't hear about that, basically a group that was led, I believe, by a former Magic champion or Magic Pro was trying to get Wizards of the Coast to branch off of Hasbro, get out of Hasbro's clutches, essentially, and it was unsuccessful. It was hard to hear anything about this with so much becoming one with Hasbro is going to be wonderful being shouted at us. However, employees were wary and had concerns. Nothing I recall being addressed, just a lot of leadership. We'll have to discuss that and get back to you. So, again, internal, not living up to expectations, of course. Again, being one with Hasbro is going to be wonderful. Of course it's going to be wonderful. Things are great. Look at Hasbro. We've got all these great product lines that are all failing, except for Wizards of the Coast. So you need to prop us up and help us out. And yeah, again, just not listening to feedback. Yeah, not surprising. What is the internal reception to Magic Arena economy? Wildcards, no trading, dusting, etc. Yes, players complain, but as long as they're spending money, why change anything? So again, this is kind of just what Magic players have needed to do for a long time. Speak with your wallet, and doesn't seem to be happening in the Magic Arena economy because players are spending a lot of money. So Wizards isn't willing to change, feedback when players are complaining about something, but they're still spending money. That's not going to change the barometer for Wizards. So I personally don't play Magic Arena, but if you do, maybe speak with your wallet a bit more, potentially, if you can, and not spending money, so that Wizards maybe changes that, no dusting trading policy, essentially. What are some resources about that could help out those who have been laid off by Hasbro? LinkedIn seems to be the best currently with as many layoffs. As we are seeing across the industry, people are really stepping up to try and help one another. Lean on your networks. Absolutely. LinkedIn is a fantastic network for that. Best of luck to everyone out there who unfortunately was laid off. I'm very sorry this holiday season. Exterior Woods of the Coast of Renton, Washington. We thank our anonymous contact for the willingness to let us hear what they had to say. Our hearts go out to those affected by Hasbro's layoffs, both from within Wizards of the Coast and without. Hopefully these people will find gainful work quickly. I definitely echo that as well. Again, a very brave person to step up and speak out and say kind of what is going on inside of Wizards, because again, just players of Magic like you and I, we can say things from the outside. We can say, our distrust of Hasbro, our distrust of, them pumping out all these products, doing all these things. But when you actually hear it from the inside of the company as well, saying, yeah, there's a bunch of basically discourse inside the company, a bunch of, hey, feedback that is not being, heard from upper management, and saying hey, we probably shouldn't do all these products. We shouldn't do all these things. And then also, again, just kind of Wizards needing to get out from the clutches of Hasbro, so it's not trying to prop up a company that is failing when Wizards is doing very, very, very well. And again, is utilizing some practices that probably aren't in the best interest for the game in long term, because a lot of these decisions to just pump out an absurd amount of products is going to rub some players the wrong way, especially those that have been with the game for a long time. Yeah, you're getting short-term profits, but also you're kind of hurting your long-term reputation and long-term outcome for the actual game itself. So again, hopefully Wizards can at some point get out from the clutches of Hasbro. We shall see if that ever happens. Again, will it happen? Who knows? That's, again, just my thoughts on this article. Thank you so much, Commander Herald, for putting this out, and thank you for the interviewee, again, for being brave and speaking up about this. Comment below with your thoughts on all this, of course, and as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.